Well, hi there, everybody. It's time for a 10 with Tom, and it seems like it's been a while since we've done one of these because we have been crazy running stuff from the mission trip this summer.
Oh, yeah.
But now I'm with my friend Will, and Will is on his way to take a new position as pastor for youth at Zion United Methodist Church in York, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold.
Moving up there right as we start the winter season, or I guess it's late fall up there, but, you know, getting right in there to get a nice little bit of frostbite to get me started, right?
Now, to try and help you out, I did try and take a trunk full of warm air up. I don't know how long it'll last, but hopefully you'll get a warm reception when you get up there. Just wanted to take some time today just to reflect on your journey here at the Village Church. And it's been quite a journey.
Yeah, it's been a long time as we've kind of been spending this time, reflecting, getting ready, and I mean, Pastor Allen and everybody's been like, yeah, you've been here a while, right? A while, it's been like 15, 13 years, someplace in that range. And yeah, it's crazy to think about how, starting from this little 7th grader that, was still taller than all the other 7th graders because I've always been tall, but little 7th grader that was hiding from Deb with a bulletin, because that's totally what you do when you see your math teacher at church. You hide. But going from that and then just seeing growth, it's one of those things that I really like to see in our students here, and just students in general, that over time you can see so much growth in somebody, but if you're just up there like super close at what's going on, well, sometimes we're a mess. And I'm sure you had plenty of times where you're like, Will, you're a mess, and you never told me. He's laughing because it's true.
Just a little true. Now, a call to youth ministry is not something that just happens by accident. And this, like we said, this has been a journey. Where did the call toward a career in ministry, where did that begin for you? How did that all begin to take shape?
Yeah, so I would say early in my time here, kind of going through middle school and going through the process of just trying to learn and understand who the heck Jesus was. Because I remember at the very, very first start of all of this was when we were in this moving process, and we went to a Christmas play, I guess, at the Catholic Church downtown, and being like, why are we making such a big deal over a stupid baby? Like that in my 5th grade, 6th grade mind, that is exactly what I was thinking. Like, this is whack. Like, who cares? And that kind of started that question, and then coming through the program and eventually learning, like, oh wow, even though it was a baby, like, there's so much more that this baby did. It's not the fact that it was a baby, which is what we look at a lot on Christmas, but there was so much more than that. And then kind of learning the basics, building a foundation. And then actually it was in high school when we started doing mission trips, and we went to, we were in St. Louis at the time. Okay. And I remember that particular trip, I just felt like I needed to go to St. Louis. That's where I needed to go on our mission trip. There was something about it. I could not resist it. I needed to be there. And there was pushback. My father grew up in St. Louis, and he was like, you don't want to go to St. Louis. Especially when he saw where we would be staying, he's like, you don't want to go to St. Louis. But God found a way. God made it happen. And while we were there, I actually had a moment where I really don't know what all happened everywhere else. I can tell you what happened with me, though, was I was sitting there was the evening program, and I was looking around, and up to that point, when I see an issue, I want to try to solve an issue, right? And my friends were in, deep emotional, spiritual pain as they were kind of coming to the realization of, the world is heavy, but Jesus is trying to take it off of us. And I was like, I want to try to help my friends, and there was nothing I could do. And I remember just walking over, because you were supposed to, when you're ready, go see your youth pastor. And I remember just sitting there and crying in front of Tom. I don't know what Tom said in that moment. I don't know what anybody else said in that moment. But I felt this whisper of no, in your brokenness, you can do something cool. If you want to just be broken for me, you can do something really amazing. And that kind of started my whole call into ministry. Was I'm just a broken dude trying to do what's right, trying to help people. And if I can help somebody through my brokenness, man, there's nothing more special than being able to do that. Especially in a society where we're so focused on looking like we have it all together, where we're so focused on always looking whole, when it's like, no, it's okay to be broken, guys.
Good point. And as you hear Will talking, we often talk about reasons to go on a mission trip. And I'm sure you didn't go in with that expectation going into that trip.
No.
But so often, the ministry that takes place on a mission trip is ministry that takes place inside of us. It's not even so much what we're doing for others, but what God does in us during those times. Now, you got ready to head off to college, off to Southeastern.
Mm-hmm. Go Fire.
Go Fire.
Southeastern Fire.
And to me, I've sent a lot of students to Southeastern in previous years, and how does a boy from an independent church end up in an Assemblies of God university? What pushed you that direction, and what began to shape your direction as you went to Southeastern?
Yeah, so kind of as I was growing up in high school and going through my education at Nice, and just trying to find a place that I'd be able to dig deeper in my faith. Because that was something that, like, I wanted to make sure wherever I went, that was a very foundational core value to wherever I went, because, man, I went in knowing I was going to try to figure out a way to do a ministry major. Again, there was stuff going on why I didn't go in as a ministry major, because I'm trying to figure out all this other life balancing, making other people happy. It's a part of life, but when God calls you to something, you fall through with it. And so I wanted to find a place that, one, had a solid ministry program that would be able to, even if I didn't go into ministry, like, there's still going to be a great foundation of faith at all levels. And so that led me to just looking at Christian higher education in the first place. And as I looked around, and I visited a couple different schools, I visited Clearwater Christian, which closed down after my freshman year, so all of those students ended up at Southeastern anyway, so I joked that if I ended up there, I still would have ended up at Southeastern. I looked at Florida Southern, which had some Christian connection, that when I visited, it really didn't seem like it had a Christian connection, which was a huge, like, I'm not feeling it anymore. But it was that core that I wanted to build my higher education at a place of faith, where faith was so key to it, where serving was so key to it, that pulled me to Southeastern. And it was one of those things that I remember the exact moment when I made the decision that I was going Southeastern, because Jim Carpenter was here, and he was just casually asking me about what the search was going like. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to Southeastern. I don't think I had told anybody at that point. It was still jumbled up in my head, but it was at that point that I'm like, that's where I'm feeling the pull to go, and it's definitely something that, like, I'm so grateful I did, because Southeastern was awesome. You guys should go to Southeastern when you grow up.
And they did not pay him to make that announcement.
No. I wish.
And then, briefly, we're already running out of time in this session, but what prompted you then to go from Southeastern to seminary?
So the shortest way I can explain that transition was just in my dream of the world is seeing a church that's united, where we're building bridges, we're not creating walls over really a lot of stupid small theological differences, but we're just coming together to serve Jesus and be a part of the community and do those things. And a lot of people have a hard time building that up. I do think there's a movement of what would be considered low church, where it's very casual, and those bridges are being built, but a lot of other churches, they do require a master's degree to be considered a pastor or a voice in their congregation. So that kind of prompted me that I'm like, as I want to kind of dive deeper with my knowledge and relationship with God, and as I want to encounter other people where they're at, I found that would be a great way to just encourage intellectual knowledge of God and how I can engage with people, while also being able to speak in a lot of different communities that I might not be able to with just a bachelor's.
Okay. We're going to follow this up with a little bit more with Will in a second part, and we hope you'll join us for that. In the meantime, we're still planting seeds for mission trips, so we hope you'll look us up and check into that, because we'd love to have you be a part of our team. Will, good good to be with you, and we'll do this again in part 2. Thanks so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.